What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Between the Numbers. I'm your host, Daryl, and let's jump right into it. So, last night I did a live stream for about 2 hours, and I pretty much was ranting about all of the negatives that came from the LSU game versus USC. And so, in this episode, I'm not going to be focusing on the negatives. I'm going to be focusing on the positives because the season is still young and we have to move forward. But I'm moving forward and I'm focusing on the positives around this football team. And so I got some notes. So excuse me, I'm going to be using my phone. But I just did some notes that I wrote down last night while I was watching the game, and I didn't really talk about much in the live stream because I was so focused on the negatives. So um, starting off with the offensive side of the ball, um, Garrett Nussmeier played phenomenal. Um, I guess this is going to be negative, but I'm just really disappointed that Brian Kelly said that Miller Moss outplayed Gary Nussmeier. Yeah, sure. Miller Moss had the last drive, to win the football game for USC, and he had more passing yards, but he didn't. I don't feel like he outplayed Gary Nussmeier at all. If I had to do it all over again, I'm still picking Garrett Nussmeier. If I had to find another quarterback to lead this LSU team for the rest of the season, I'm still picking Garrett Nussmeier. I'm 1,000% behind Garrett Nussmeier. So I think that it's pretty sad that he would say that on national TV about his quarterback. Um, the offensive line as a whole, right? Will Campbell, he had an amazing an amazing seal block where he pulled and pretty much sealed the edge, and he sprung um, John Emery Jr. for a pretty nice run. So kudos to Will Campbell. The whole offensive line was great in pass protection. Got to still work on pushing on, getting the push in the run game, but you know, phenomenal play overall by the offensive line. Kudos to them. Kyron Lacey had himself a game. Kyron Lacey, there was a lot of questions about, could the productivity of Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. be replicated? And I think we're just fine with the wide receivers, right? Sucks that Chris Hilton Jr. didn't play, but Kyron Lacey had himself a game in the first half. Aaron Anderson finally announced himself, right? He broke some ankles, had a score. Aaron Anderson is going to be a big time playmaker for us. Xavier Thomas showed us some flashes. Um, just want him to get going in the return game. CJ Daniels didn't show much, but that's not a bad thing because Nussmeier had a lot of mouths to feed. Talking about mouths to feed, Mason Teller, attaboy Mason Teller, great game, man, great game. Mason Teller was playing his ASS off, right? Um, Great game, Mason Teller. Kudos to you. Definitely, I think Mason Teller is definitely probably going to go on the first day in the draft, if not early second day in the draft, as long as he stay healthy and continue to produce the way that he produced last night um, in the football game. And the running backs, man, I was so excited to see Emery, John Emery Jr. Emery Jr. be able to run the way he did, man. Um, After so many injuries, man, the kid just seemed like he was having fun out there. So kudos to Emery Jr. Um so kudos to the whole offensive side of the ball. Those players, man, they played a heck of a game. Sorry that I feel bad that he wasn't able to pull it off, but kudos to the offensive side of the ball. I definitely feel good about moving forward with this offense. Flipping to the defensive side of the ball, um, you know, man, the defensive line. I wrote down some more notes. Let me just pull up my notes real fast. All right, so sorry. Um, uh, I thought the whole defensive line played well, right? I thought they played well. Still got room to grow, but I think they played well. It's I don't want to overact, but it's definitely a noticeable difference from last season. Um, Savion Jones was impactful. Paris Strain was impactful off the edge. Um, you know, Braden Swenson was impactful off the edge. Deshaun Womack was impactful. Sucks that he got hurt. Hopefully he's able to shake back and come back for next week's game. But we got Nickel State next week. So not overlooking Nickel State at all, but LSU should be able to get that victory. Um, and so if if Deshaun Womack is still, having some lingering effects from that injury, maybe, not even allow him to play. Uh, Greg Penn played very well in terms of creating havoc as a linebacker. Harold Perkins showed flashes of his elite playmaking ability. In kind of like the first quarter. Not gonna again. I'm not gonna talk about the negatives from what I've seen on how Harold Perkins was managed. I'm not. Um, you got to go back and watch the live stream if you want to see that. Um, Wet Weeks was balling, man. That dude was all over the field. They definitely got to keep doing that. They got to keep moving Wet Weeks around, man. He was creating a lot of havoc, man. He was creating a lot of havoc, a lot of chaos. Shout out to him. Uh, I think Javion Tovar and Ashton Stamps are going to be just fine. They're still young. I think they're going to be just fine. PJ Woodland is going to be a dog. PJ Woodland is going to be a dog. He's going to be a household name for years to come at LSU. And so, you got to be happy about, those positive and bright spots for this LSU team on offense and defense. And always the special teams, the kickers and the punters, those guys are studs, right? I think that Damian Ramos is just automatic to me. I never really worry when Damon Ramos goes out there and you know have to kick a field goal. Now, in a losing effort, uh, I'm still gonna give who I thought was the MVPs of the game, even though it was a losing effort. On the offensive side of the ball, I'm gonna give it to Garrett Nussmeier. If I, it would be okay, Garrett Nussmeier, and you would have to split it with Kyron Lacey, but we're gonna just go with Garrett Nussmeier on the offensive side of the ball, and on the defensive side of the ball, man, I'm gonna give it to Wet Weeks, man. Wet Weeks. Wet Weeks was, um, I mean, he was he went to that game pissed the hell off, right? Sucks that we wasn't able to get the W, but offensive side of the ball MVP Gary Nussmeier, defensive side of the ball Whit Weeks. That's my best players of the game. That's my most valuable players of the game in a losing effort. Those two players. Um, you know, and in closing, it sucks, man. It sucks to lose another season opener, but it's still we still got a lot of games left, and take some time to soak in it. I know I soaked in it last night. Man, that game went off at 11 o'clock here in South Carolina. I didn't go to bed till 3 o'clock, 3 a.m. in the morning. I still feel some type of way right now, but I'm gonna flush it out of my system today. Tomorrow I'm gonna be prepared for the NFL to start, and looking forward to LSU playing Nickel State. What I am gonna say is um, I am not going to place too much stock into that game versus Nickel State because LSU should and is supposed to win, and is supposed to, blow out Nickel State. Uh, so I probably won't put too much stock into that game, but I'll be looking when LSU plays their next game versus South Carolina, I believe. I'm also going to be going to that game because I live in South Carolina, and Columbia, Columbus, South Carolina is just right up the road, like 2 hours. So I'm going to go to that game. And so looking forward to watching that game. But yeah, if you guys are feeling some type of way about the loss last night, you are validated in your feelings. But give yourself 24 to 48 hours and then flush it out of your system, and then look ahead and try to focus on the positives from what we saw last night. I think Blake Baker has the defense trending in the right direction. It's gonna take a few games, but I think we're trending in the right direction. Um, the players on offense are just fine. The coaches got to figure it out, but the players on offense are just fine. And I think LSU is, trending in the in the right direction. Although we took the L last night, so all right. Check out the latest video, which was the live stream from last night. I appreciate everyone who has supported this channel. Please, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, leave a like, and hit that bell notification button so you can stay up to date on all of the latest drops from the channel. Until next time, I'm your host, Daryl, and I'm out.